Have you ever considered the way you speak to yourself? Many of us don't realize that our inner dialogue can have a profound effect on our lives. In fact, the way you talk to yourself could be the very thing holding you back from reaching your true potential. Today, we're going deep into the hidden power of self-talk and how subtle shifts in how you speak to yourself can lead to powerful changes in your life. The words we choose to speak to ourselves shape our reality in ways we may not even recognize. Every thought, whether it's a word of encouragement or criticism, influences how we feel about ourselves, our abilities, and our potential. Self-talk is not just casual thoughts floating by, it's the foundation of our self-perception and the lens through which we see the world. If this self-talk is primarily negative, it can easily become a barrier, blocking us from achieving what we're truly capable of. Many of these thought patterns stem from beliefs we hold at a subconscious level. Throughout our lives, we collect ideas about who we are and what we can achieve based on what others have told us or from past experiences. Without realizing it, these old beliefs set the stage for how we view ourselves today. For instance, if you grew up hearing phrases like, "You're just not good at that," you might still carry that idea with you, even when it no longer holds true. Negative self-talk has a way of eating away at our confidence over time. When you frequently tell yourself, "I can't do this," or "I'm not smart enough," it begins to shape your perception of what's possible. This can lead to a cycle of self-doubt, where you feel hesitant to try new things, take risks, or even pursue your goals wholeheartedly. These phrases, though they may feel like throwaway thoughts, carry a lot of weight when repeated over time. While some self-reflection can be helpful for growth, there's a fine line between constructive self-talk and self-criticism. Constructive self-talk acknowledges areas where we can improve without tearing us down. For example, saying, "I didn't do my best today, but I'll learn from it," encourages you to keep going. If this inner dialogue becomes harsh self-criticism, with phrases like, "I'm a failure," or "I'll never get it right," it simply reinforces negativity, creating a mental block that prevents progress. It's easy to fall into the trap of harmful self-talk without even realizing it. We might casually say things like, "I always mess things up," or "Nothing ever works out for me," thinking they're harmless. But these statements, said often enough, become part of how we see ourselves. They create limitations, adding unnecessary weight to our challenges and making it harder to break out of negative cycles. Self-talk is so powerful that it doesn't just affect your mood, it can even influence your physical state. Studies have shown that positive self-talk can lower stress, improve focus, and boost resilience in challenging situations. On the other hand, negative self-talk can have a draining effect, adding stress to both the mind and body. When we're kinder to ourselves, we actually make it easier to handle stress and bounce back from setbacks. Many people believe that if they're not hard on themselves, they won't be motivated to improve. Research has shown that positive self-talk can be just as effective, if not more so, in driving motivation and achieving goals. When we encourage ourselves instead of being critical, we're more likely to feel motivated to keep going, even when things get tough. Shifting to positive self-talk isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging difficulties while also believing in your ability to overcome them. For instance, rather than saying, "I'm terrible at this," try saying, "I'm learning, and I'll improve with practice." This slight change reframes the situation, helping you stay open to growth instead of feeling defeated. One way to begin improving self-talk is by being aware of your thoughts. Try to notice when negative statements arise and ask yourself if they're truly fair or just a habit. Awareness is the first step to change. Without recognizing the patterns, it's easy to continue feeding into them. From there, you can start to replace these negative thoughts with kinder, more supportive ones. Start with small changes. Instead of thinking, "I'll never get this right," switch to, "I'm still figuring it out." Simple adjustments in wording can help create a more positive outlook over time, which can open doors to new opportunities and growth. Another helpful strategy is to imagine how you would speak to a friend facing the same situation. Often, we're much harsher on ourselves than we would be with anyone else. If a friend came to you with self-doubt, you'd likely offer words of encouragement. Treat yourself with that same level of kindness and understanding, recognizing that you, too, deserve support. Building this habit of positive self-talk won't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, it becomes easier. Little by little, as you start to shift your inner dialogue, you'll find that challenges seem less intimidating, and you'll feel more capable of reaching your goals. Self-talk is an incredible tool, one that's always within your control and capable of influencing your life in meaningful ways. Negative self-talk acts like an anchor, weighing you down and making it harder to move forward. When you consistently tell yourself that you're not capable or that you're bound to fail, it creates a mental hurdle. You start doubting your own abilities and second-guessing every step you take. This doesn't just make things harder, it can actually prevent you from even trying. The more you focus on negative thoughts, the more these thoughts reinforce themselves. Each time you tell yourself, "I can't do this," it becomes more ingrained, eventually feeling like an unbreakable truth. Over time, these negative beliefs become like walls, separating you from new opportunities and growth. This self-imposed limitation stops you from taking the very actions that could help you succeed. Fear is a common outcome of negative self-talk. When you're constantly talking yourself down, fear of failure becomes overwhelming. It's easy to convince yourself that it's safer to avoid risks altogether rather than face the possibility of falling short. But in reality, this approach only keeps you stuck, creating a pattern where you avoid taking chances that could actually help you grow. Negative self-talk also impacts your relationships and how you interact with others. When you're struggling with self-doubt, you might project those feelings onto others, assuming they see you the same way you see yourself. This can lead to misunderstandings or push people away, further reinforcing feelings of isolation and self-doubt. Most importantly, negative self-talk limits your happiness. By holding yourself back and focusing on the negative, you miss out on the joy of pursuing passions, achieving goals, and living fully. Happiness and fulfillment come from believing in your own worth and pursuing what truly matters to you. When self-talk is positive, it fosters this growth, opening up a world of possibilities. Positive self-talk has the power to lift you up, encouraging you to see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as learning moments. When you start to approach life with an optimistic inner dialogue, it naturally boosts your confidence. Rather than doubting yourself, you begin to trust your ability to figure things out, even if it takes time. Switching to positive self-talk can help you build resilience. Resilience is that inner strength that keeps you moving forward despite obstacles. When you tell yourself that you're capable, you're more likely to take action and keep trying, even when things get tough. This mindset doesn't eliminate challenges, but it makes them feel more manageable. As you incorporate positive self-talk, you'll also notice that stress becomes easier to handle. Instead of feeling defeated by stressful situations, you approach them with a mindset that believes in your ability to cope. This shift doesn't just help mentally, it actually has physical benefits as well, helping reduce anxiety and even improve focus. Positive self-talk can also have a ripple effect on your relationships. When you're kinder to yourself, it becomes easier to show compassion and patience toward others. This positive energy often attracts people who uplift you, creating a supportive circle that further strengthens your confidence. Over time, positive self-talk opens up possibilities you may have never considered. With a more optimistic view of your potential, you're more likely to try new things, take risks, and accept growth. It can be the difference between feeling limited and experiencing a life filled with new opportunities and excitement. One of the best ways to start cultivating positive self-talk is by practicing gratitude. Each day, take a moment to acknowledge something good about yourself or something positive that happened. This small habit helps shift your focus from negative thoughts to a more balanced view, encouraging kinder self-talk over time. Another powerful practice is setting realistic goals. When you have clear, achievable goals, it's easier to feel positive and motivated. Rather than setting yourself up for disappointment, you're creating a pathway to small wins that build your confidence along the way. Try to surround yourself with positive influences. Whether through uplifting books, podcasts, or supportive friends, these influences reinforce the message that you are capable and worthy. Positive influences help balance out negativity, making it easier to build a healthier relationship with yourself. When negative self-talk arises, don't push it aside. Instead, acknowledge it, but don't let it take over. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful or true? Often, negative self-talk is based on unfounded fears or assumptions, and questioning it can help you let go of its power. Don't forget to be patient with yourself. Building positive self-talk is a journey, not an instant transformation. Each day, as you practice these small changes, you're moving closer to a mindset that supports and uplifts you, making it easier to reach your full potential. Many of us are so accustomed to certain patterns of self-talk that we don't even realize when they happen. These patterns may have developed over years and can become automatic responses to situations. For instance, when faced with a challenging task, some people immediately think, "I'm just not good enough for this." These thoughts can feel so natural that they go unnoticed, slipping into the background of our minds and shaping how we perceive ourselves without any conscious intervention. To truly shift towards positive self-talk, the first step is to recognize these patterns. This means taking a moment to pause and reflect on the types of thoughts that arise when you encounter different situations. Are there certain phrases or criticisms that keep popping up, especially during stressful moments? By identifying these recurring themes, you can start seeing self-talk as a pattern rather than as a true reflection of who you are. Understanding that these thoughts are learned responses allows you to approach them with curiosity and a willingness to change. Once you start identifying these patterns, it's essential to challenge them. Ask yourself if these thoughts are based on facts or assumptions. Often, you'll find that these are just habits of thinking rather than statements rooted in truth. This step allows you to see your self-talk as something separate from your identity, a behavior you can actively shape rather than an unchangeable part of who you are. Recognizing and challenging these patterns is a key part of breaking free from limiting beliefs and accepting a more positive, supportive inner dialogue. Reframing negative thoughts doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or avoiding challenges. Instead, it's about looking at situations in a balanced way that encourages growth rather than self-doubt. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I always mess things up," try reframing it to something more balanced like, "This is difficult, but I'm learning, and I'll get better with time." This shift doesn't deny the challenge but rather highlights your capacity to grow and adapt. The act of reframing requires practice, as it involves replacing old, familiar patterns with new ones. Each time a negative thought arises, consider what you would say to a friend in the same situation. If a friend made a small mistake, you wouldn't tell them, "You're terrible at this." Instead, you might say, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes, and you'll do better next time." Treat yourself with that same level of compassion and patience as you work through reframing your thoughts. Reframing helps you develop resilience by focusing on solutions rather than getting stuck in a cycle of negativity. This practice doesn't remove obstacles but instead equips you with a mindset that can navigate them with confidence. Over time, you'll start to notice a natural shift in your thinking, where positive alternatives feel more like your default response, helping you face life's ups and downs with a balanced, empowering perspective. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for improving self-talk because it brings you into the present moment, helping you notice your thoughts without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you become more aware of your inner dialogue, allowing you to recognize when negative self-talk arises. Instead of reacting to it automatically, you have a moment to pause, observe, and choose a different response. Mindfulness can be practiced in many ways, from meditation to simply taking a few deep breaths and observing your thoughts. The goal is not to silence your mind but to create space between your thoughts and your reactions. By doing this, you can catch negative self-talk before it takes hold and consciously decide if it's something you want to keep entertaining. Mindfulness empowers you to question whether the thoughts you're experiencing are truly serving you or if they're limiting your potential. With consistent mindfulness practice, you'll start to build a healthier relationship with yourself. You'll become less reactive to negative thoughts and more intentional about the messages you allow yourself to internalize. This habit of observing your thoughts without judgment enables you to break free from automatic negative patterns and create an inner dialogue that aligns with your goals and aspirations. Creating lasting change in your self-talk requires consistency and patience. Building new habits takes time, and the same goes for transforming your inner dialogue. Start by setting small, achievable goals. For example, make it a habit to end each day with a positive reflection on something you accomplished, no matter how minor it might seem. This simple practice reinforces a positive outlook and helps counteract any negative self-talk that might have come up during the day. As you continue building these habits, recall to celebrate your progress. Each time you notice yourself reframing a negative thought or practicing positive self-talk, acknowledge it. Recognizing these small victories reinforces the habit and motivates you to keep going. Self-encouragement is a vital part of creating long-term change, so give yourself credit for each step, no matter how small. Over time, these small habits accumulate, leading to a more supportive and encouraging inner dialogue that feels natural and authentic. Positive self-talk becomes less of an effort and more of a way of being. By committing to this journey and consistently practicing these habits, you'll find yourself empowered by your thoughts rather than held back by them, allowing you to move forward with confidence and resilience. Thank you for taking the time to explore the power of self-talk with us today. Shifting to positive self-talk is a journey that requires patience and self-compassion, but the rewards are well worth it. By making these small yet meaningful changes, you can create an inner dialogue that supports your growth and happiness. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to stay connected. We look forward to sharing more insights with you soon.